In today's class, we'll be looking at sectioning, the sectioning of this block here. The section of this block is this drawing, and this is what we're going to look at today. You can check the channel for the isometric drawing of this block, but for today, we'll be looking at the sectioning of this block. To draw this section of this block is when you use a knife to cut the block from here as it passes through this line. And it's facing and we're looking at it in this direction. So if we want to draw the section, we'll notice that the knife or whatever we will be using to cut the block will cut through here, to touch here, to touch here, and to leave. This side repeats itself on this other side that we cannot see it, but the block is symmetric. So this side repeats itself here. When you are sectioning the block, when you are using a knife to cut the block, the knife would cut here, so to cut here up through this thickness. To not cut here because this is a hole. It would cut here and do the same thing on the other side. To cut here and it will go down. It also cuts the base, but because this hole goes through the block. So to cut the base, it will cut the other side here. So that's how it would cut the block. For us to start, we'll draw a horizontal line. The length of the line has to be 80 millimeters, which is the distance from here to the other side. Mark 80 millimeters. Okay. From this point on this line, it goes up by 10 millimeters. And it does the same thing on the other side. We'll draw two vertical lines. Okay. And measure 10 millimeters. From this point, here, there's a line that goes from here to here. The knife cuts this tiny distance from here to here. We can get this distance by subtracting 80 from 70. The diameter of this full circle here, the circle body, is 70 millimeters, which means the distance from one point on the circumference to the other side is 70 millimeters. So 80 minus 70 would give 10, and 10 divided by 2, because I said here repeats itself on the other side. So 10 divided by 80 minus 70 is 10. 10 divided by 2 is 10 divided by 2 will give us 5 millimeters. Hence, from here to here is 5, and the other side is 5. We'll mark 5 millimeters or 0.5 centimeters on the line. From this point, the line goes up. The distance from here to here would be 50, because since the total length of the block is 60 millimeters and here is 10, 60 minus 10 is 50, so the distance from here to here is 50. Because this side is the same on the other side, I can repeat the same thing I did here on this side. So The height, the vertical line, I'll draw a vertical line up and I'll mark 50 millimeters on it. Mm. From this point to this point, we'll draw a line across. The thickness of this side here, or the distance from here to here, you can get it. The distance from here to here is 15. Okay. If the diameter of the circle is 70 millimeters and the square has a length of 40 millimeters, it means that the radius, which is the distance from the middle of the circle to the circumference, the radius is 35 millimeters. And the distance from the center of the circle to the edge of the square is 40 divided by 2, and that's 20 because it's half the square. So 35 minus 20 is 15. 15 on this side, 15 on this side. Okay. And this line here goes down all the way to the base. The same thing on the other side. So come here and mark it 1.5. 1. Okay. We just need to erase out some things and thicken our work. So I'm going to make it thick first before I start shading. Then the next thing to do, okay, for the shading, since the knife cuts through this thickness here, because when the knife came, it touched through all these parts. It touched this distance here and this thickness here. But the knife did not touch anything in this hole when it was cutting. It just went through it. On the other side, it did the same thing as it went through when it passed this side. So the shading will only touch these parts, the parts where the knife touched. It will not touch the parts where the knife did not touch, which is this hole here. For the shading, we'll be using our 45-degree set square. Both edges are 45. So we can use any edge. So the next thing we'll do is to dimension. So this is the dimensioned work of the section. So don't forget to watch the isometric video on this blog. And please like, share, comment, subscribe, and share with your friends. Thank you.